good mic. Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow, okay. All right, I'm still waking up, so I apologize.
I got cheat sheets for all of these.
Oh,
yeah. What are y'all?
So we know who we are.
Oh, you're the best. Oh my gosh.
Was in there?
Jeremy Yes. Now we know who we are.
Okay, I am Alexis Tipton. I'm a voice actress for Funimation Entertainment and Okatron 5000 Studios, among some other things. According to this piece of paper, some of the things that I've been in, one of the most recent announcements was I voiced Mix in Aquarion Evil, which is really, really cool. Yay! It's a fun show. They just posted the trailer, so check it out. Mizuki Himaji in Baka and Test, Sai Kisaragi in Blood Sea, Moko Akashiya in Rosario Plus Vampire, Rika Shikuma in Haganai, that one came out recently, Nori in Guilty Crown, and a bunch of other fun stuff. So.
Hi, I feel like I didn't prepare for class today, so I have lots of notes. My name is Jeremy Lee, and I'm an actor, on camera, and voiceover person. Some of the shows that I've been in, that's where we're going, right? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention, clearly, as I was like, whoa, paper. I like paper. I was Skeet in Borderlands 2, and Shauna in Shakugan Shauna. This is fascinatingly wonderful. Road in D. Greyman, Natsumi in Sergeant Frog, Asuna in Sword Art Online, Patty in Soul Eater, Lucy in Fairy Tale, and I don't know. Nisox in Pandian Stocking with Garter Belt, Himori in Holic, and then some other stuff, I guess. Sunako and Shiki. And then there's one show that I just got announced for, but we recorded this a really long time ago, so I'm gonna look it up and then I'll let you guys know what it was.
Hi, I'm Brian Massey, and I am also an actor, and I'm also studying to be a mime. So if I don't talk this weekend, it's nothing personal. No. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, what have I done? What have you done with your life? I was Lad in Bacano. Thank you. Thank you, Mom. I was a green ogre. Cashier shift. I was Jerry at D. Greyman. Yeah. I was Lebanon and Darker Than Black. Oh, I worked for Funimation as well, Okatron 5000 too, so I forgot that part. Dragon Ball Z, Kai, Oolong, the Line Barrels of Iron. I can't spoke today. Takura, Bride as a Mermaid, Shark, One Piece, Monkey, and Old Man. Old Man? Sorry. Having an epiphany.
You have such range, sir, because you're obviously not an old man.
Open range. Yeah, well, oh yeah. Thank you. She's my daughter. Ooh, booby trap. Okay. Let's not talk about throwing stones right now. Shangri-La, Takahiko, and Toriko Zonge, to name a few. And something else coming up, but I don't think I can talk about it yet. But so here we are. I love Syracuse. It's gorgeous today, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is awesome. It's a miracle.
Yeah. Ladies, you want to take over? You do a tweet?
We're trying to figure out what that show.
Oh, she's Googling herself.
No, I'm trying to figure out what show I'm allowed to talk about and what show I'm not. Because the last thing I want to do is be like, oh, they announced that show. And they'll be like, that's the wrong show, genius. That's my life.
Being a genius.
I think this is just a generic voice acting Q&A, so you supply the Q and we supply the A, and we'll try to wake up.
Yeah, you just go to that microphone right there, or raise your hand, I guess. We
Yeah.
can hear you.
Does anyone have any questions to resolve?
This guy behind you classes.
You can go first.
Okay, you go first. Here it is.
Okay, I gotta ask, what is the hardest part about voice acting that you could recommend to people who are starting to get into it in the first place?
Hardest
What?
part about voice acting is your projection. No, you got your projection down.
Well done, sir.
I would say the hardest part of voice acting is, for me personally, would be trying to convey a character within the time of the flaps, and you're trying to sync up the character, and you're trying to match his lips, or her lips. That's a difficult thing to convey with just your voice. But I would think, if you want to break into acting, is that what you're asking us? Or what was the question again?
What's the hardest part of voice acting?
Oh, the
Yeah.
hardest part of voice acting? Probably getting voice acting jobs.
Well, yeah, I know there are some in the future.
Yeah, there's, voice acting is, it's just, keep practicing. I think a good remedy or a good rule of thumb is to read, I was told to read books out loud, and hear yourself talk, and record yourself, and hear yourself, get comfortable with your voice.
Well, yeah, because it's way different from regular acting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, well, that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Give the clap, give the clap.
Quality of work is really hard. We're not always working every day. So like Brian was just saying, when we do get to work, sometimes it's like, oh, I don't have enough time to do stuff, but we love what we do. So we're like, yes, work is work. So I think the hardest part isn't like, once we get the job, that's the fun part. It's the working to get the job and the working to keep the job and stay employed. Yeah.
Well, and another thing just with acting in general is that, I mean, I can't think of a single person at Funimation, I mean, including the three of us, that don't do some other kind of acting outside of voice work, or don't have some other kind of job outside of voice work. A lot of people at Funimation direct, some people at Funimation direct, some people at Funimation write, some people work retail, some people, you know, and like Jeremy does a lot of film, and Brian and I do some film, and we do, I know I do theater too. Yeah, so we've done theater before as well. So, and lots of other people, you know, some people do, like Joel McDonald does a lot of tech stuff for theaters, and he's also a theater actor. So definitely, if you're looking to get into this business, don't pigeonhole yourself. Like, that is probably the worst thing you can do. Don't just say, I want to be an anime voice actor, and that's all I ever want to do. I mean, even if you just want to be a voice actor, that's fine, but anime is such a small part of voice acting. There's radio, there's book on tape, there's, you know, there's video games, there's industrials, yeah, there's all kinds of things. So if you're, like I said, if you're looking to get into this business, don't expect to just get in, be an anime voice actor, and then all your dreams will come true, and you'll never have to work another day in your life. I wish that's how it worked, but
Well, there's been,
unfortunately, no.
I've been acting for 20 years, since I was 5, and so there have been times when I'm working a lot, and then there's been other times where I have to get another job, and then there's been other times where I'm working a lot, and then there's been times I have to get 2 jobs, and I'm going to college and I'm working a lot. So time management skills are like paramount. Otherwise you'll cry, and you probably might still cry while you're managing.
You might get paid to cry.
Yeah, that's the best.
Practice your crying skills.
While you're trying to manage your time.
Voice actor.
Incredible acting, dude. Incredible acting.
I'm a great actor, just ask me.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do they make the film first and then you voice in after the film is made?
You pretty much, that's with anime, and that's usually 9 times out of 10. With video games, a lot of times you won't see anything. I've done over 2,000 death sounds. I worked on a game where I had to dive, was a prototype for Aliens, and I had to get, here's battery acid in the face. Or alien sucking your brain out of your head. You build these death sounds. And you have nothing to look, there's no reference. All you have is a drawing of what your character looks like, but you have no idea what you're gonna look like in the actual game moving around. Now, at Funimation, Okatron, we have the monitor on one side and the lines on the other side. And you get a beat, it's a boop, 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 boop. And then you gotta get the dialogue out there, match the flaps, and then usually you hear this, cut! What are you thinking? Do it again. It's horrible. Come on, Nancy, get your head out of your butt. I'm gonna pull my head out of my butt.
So blessed, guys.
Yes,
That was great, but it's time for you to start.
that guy's been waiting patiently. information. Yes, sir.
Because she mentioned someone screaming at her if she announced something. Does that happen often? And what would happen if you actually did announce something that they didn't want to announce?
We get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
We'll get emails with somebody posted on Anime News Network, and then some people put things on their resume and that goes on their agency website, and then fans look them up and then they find out what shows they're in, and that's a lesser sentence. But then one person went to Anime News Network. They went to the source, like the IMDb of anime, and they're like, I'm in this show. And they didn't know that show was going to be like a huge release that wasn't going to come out for like 2 years.
Oh.
And so there was this email that went out to every voice actor, and it's like, hey, don't talk about stuff. You guys signed an NDA, and we got all the, and I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? And I had done kind of screw up, but it was a little more forgiving. I had been talking about Fairy Tail, and I'd been told, like, we're getting more episodes, but then they were like, oh, we're getting more episodes, you can tell people, and they're like, no, you can't tell anybody. No, so I got like a minor like Sharon also, like slap on the
But
wrist.
you've been already established.
But I'd already been cast. It's not like I got cast as Fairy Tail and went on my Facebook and was like, get us another show called Fairy Tail, I'm Lucy. Fairy Tail probably would have been like, yeah, you're not anymore. Watch that. You're losing.
Well, like, I mean, whenever we go into Funimation to record, we have to sign in, and there's like a little piece of paper that says, this is where everybody's recording, and this is the studio they're in, and like what director's in the studio. And we had a really, I think it's better now, but for a little while there, they were calling in new people to come and audition, which is always really exciting.
Awesome, yeah.
But these people, and then not everybody did it. I don't know if they just weren't told, or they were told and didn't care, but people were taking pictures of the schedule and being like, look who I'm recording with, official Funimation schedule, and then posting it on their Facebook, and it had the name of the show in it. And so now whenever they'd be like, oh look, ka-ching, like this is what I'm doing.
Well, and it's easy for you to tell, because it'll say like this person's recording from 10 to 6. So you go, well, who's the main character in that show? And then people would like put it together. And Funimation makes a big deal. Marketing makes a big deal. They plan awesome releases. So when people like slip in and share stuff beforehand.
Well, now whenever we go in, and we have to like I said, we have to sign in first. There's now this piece of paper that's been there for months now that is like just reiterating. You have signed a contract.
Yeah.
Do not talk about anything that you were recording until we say you can. It's like big red letters.
I think basically without it saying it, it's like don't talk about it. We can kill you. They don't say it, but we know that that's what it means. We can lock you in the recording studio and not let you record 4 weeks at a time. We won't give you food. You'll go crazy. That's the punishment. They don't say it. It's off the table. That's what I think it is.
All right.
There have been voice actors who have never come out of the booth.
Have a button too they can press. It's
Yeah.
a booth with water. So it's drowning in the booth.
What is Funimation ran by a James Bond villain?
Or drown your purse. Like me over there.
Oh, yeah. It's full water.
I spilled water in my purse and it dripped down the back of my skirt. I was like, why does it feel like one part of my skirt went swimming?
Sure, like a dress.
But at a really odd angle. Like,
Oh my.
from my waist. Like, it's weird. Anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
I know you guys are having trouble waking up with candy pop.
Candy?
I don't know if that would make it worse or better.
Is it candy corn? What kind of candy is it?
What?
Always ask her.
What?
She says all kinds.
All kinds of
You
candy.
just have a backpack full of candy, pretty much.
We're gonna call you Todd Havergal. Man always has candy.
It's not everyone.
He's kind of like a big deal. Just a little bit. You're obviously not a member of the Team Havercorn fan club.
I love Todd Havercorn. Oh, God.
Sure, you just turned into Mickey Mouse. Thank you so much.
She now doesn't know what she just did.
Can you hand me the picture, Stacey? You gotta have some.
And I was like, wow, what is it? So, the reason the Laffy Taffy thing happened, long story short, is I was at a convention question.
Let's do this, guys.
I was at an 18 plus panel in DC, and I don't like doing 18 plus panels because it always gets awkward. Don't make it awkward for me. It was good. So in order to keep it from being awkward and to go to the panel, whenever anybody asked me an awkward question, which soon became whenever anybody asked me anything, I responded with a Laffy Taffy punchline. That's what you get. So now I love Laffy Taffy. Like this one. We will send you to court.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
that's my answer for whatever this next question is. No, that's perfect. Like, what happens if you break NDA? Funimation says, we will send you to court.
You see, I think the Diesel agrees.
The next answer is buck teeth. No!
Can you read my lucky numbers while you're at it?
Lucky numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Are there numbers?
It's on there. It's like a
You should
Chinese.
say what?
Where? Oh, what?
Fuchsia say man.
Where's the
Man
numbers?
Fuchsia say man who's sitting on toilet seat high on pot.
That's not what it said.
285-820. Do I have a bingo?
No,
I gotta get a Confucius thing out there just because you guys are doing it. And this is one of the worst ones I've ever heard. Confucius say, what is better than a rose on a piano? Tulips on an organ. If you know
yeah. Like those are PG-13. It's been hours since I broke that.
I'm sorry, I've been eating Laffy Taffy.
I
I
broke
missed
that.
everything.
Somebody had a question. Yeah, you sir.
What was your worst experience as a voice actor?
Right now.
Okay, I know.
That's a good question. What's your worst experience as a voice actor?
I'm like failing at everything.
Watch it. My worst experience was probably when I broke wind of the booth. I put it in the commentary, and I really was. It's pretty embarrassing, you know, because I didn't set anybody up with that guy. Like just put the sign in there. Nobody knows. I mean, it's not fair. It was Kyle. Yeah, it was Kyle. And Corey go.
I'm seeing a pattern because Kyle has a part
Yeah.
of my show, right?
Oh, Kyle.
It's Kyle.
Revenge.
Kyle's one of our engineers, by the way.
Yeah, he's quite a character.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably, but yeah, my worst experience. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of times where, you know, I failed an audition or didn't do as well as I wanted to, and you walk out there and you're just mad at yourself.
Yeah.
You're driving the whole way home, and you do a perfect bit the way home. You're like, oh, that's perfect.
That's my life.
Yeah, it is.
Every day. That's what I do.
You should
I'm
carpool.
like, sure.
You can carpool together. Oh, yeah, London, you drive.
I don't know, like, probably my worst experience was just like really not bad because I just love being there, but like stupid things that I do, such as like it was like the second session that I ever had recording, and I was working on Peach Girl, which is the first show I was working on at Funimation, and this was in the old building, so the booths were really small. They were like little whisper rooms, and I was sitting on a stool, and I thought I'd be a cool person, like lean back on the stool, and you know, everybody says, don't ever do that. I was like resting on the back of the wall of the booth, and like rocking back and forth between the stool. Well, it moves forward, and I don't. And so like all of a sudden, because I'm leaning back and the stool comes out from under me, and you just hear me like hit the ground and like knock things on the way down. And Zach, the
That's a
director,
really small space.
yeah,
So.
and the director just looks at me and he goes,
You are such an idiot.
I was like,
Uh-oh.
oh my god. Was anybody at that panel? Was anybody at TorCon? Yeah, when John Swayze sits in the chair and we didn't know that it broke and John Swayze bit it. I was watching that.
Oh, it was an accident.
No, it was totally an accident. Me and Monica probably most evil girls in the room. we were like, we're gonna make the guys duel for the chair. And then John Swayze walks in and he goes, I'll tell you who wins the chair. Me. And like sits down in the chair just like and so then we were like, well, we're gonna get Todd Havercorn because he's late. And Todd Havercorn sits down and just goes, like he feels that it's off. I'm like, Haver wisdom. Like, but yeah, that was awkward. The other time it was awkward is when I was losing my voice and I had to do this really like high-pitched character and she was crying. But my voice was kind of like raw, so she was like crying and it came out like the tiniest clown horn ever. And like my little breathing noise as I was crying. And so they made that little clown horn the beeps for everyone. And then there was a time that my headshot from when I was 7 circulated around Funimation and they emailed it to all the voice directors. So when I walked in for a session, there's a picture of baby me going like this, like being sad. And then everybody would go, oh, babe, share me. I hate it here. And then Chris Kaysen would make the little picture come up when I didn't get it right. He goes, baby, share me. He's like, baby, share me says we should do it again. And then slides it like that. I'm like, everyone hates me.
Aww.
Not really. They just really like to harass me. Some music
I did the same thing. I get, especially when we had a director named Jason Grundy for a while, and Grundy, just like, I love Grundy, but I hate Grundy. Spider Pig. Spider Pig.
Whatever a spider pig does.
He would sing that all the time.
By the way, he has a voice like Strong Bad. So he'd be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go into the booth, we're gonna do that.
Yeah, seriously.
And like, you're trying to tell a story.
Hey, that's rude. I don't sound like that.
He sounds
That's what he sounds like.
No, it's so funny.
Good, man.
No, he did something similar with a picture for me. He found a picture because he was trying to get a hold of pictures of everybody when they were kids or younger, like awkward, high school pictures or whatever he could get his hands on. And because those people would post them on Facebook.
It's a very loving environment.
Yeah, and so I'm like, why would I post pictures of awkward pictures of myself on Facebook?
No, pictures of me when I'm 9 don't exist.
Right, and so he didn't have anything on me, so he found a picture online that he thought looked like it could have been me a long time ago. And it was this really she was blonde and had long hair, but she had braces, which I did have braces at one time, but she was like, it was just this really derpy, awkward school photo, and he told everybody it was me. And he had the background of his computer, so whenever they'd go in, they'd be like, who's this? He's like, that's Alexis when she was 7. And I'm like, that's not me!
That's hilarious.
And then Grundy also liked to go in and mess with my Wikipedia page. And I told him to record, he'd be like, Alexis, I heard you're not a U.S. citizen. Excuse me? He's like, well, it says here on your Wikipedia that, well, here, take a look. And I looked at it, and it said I was from Ecuador. And then another time, he said, I know, right? I know, look at this skin. I'm totally from Ecuador. No, and then another time he said he changed my birthday, so it said I was like 56.
Ah.
I would have been all about
What's
that.
wrong with that?
I would have said change it to say I'm 190.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. Because at the time there was no picture, so it was like,
Oh.
just, yeah. And then another time he changed the bio section and it said, something along the lines of, Alexis Tipton, it's her favorite thing when people come up to her in conventions and do Chewbacca impressions. Yeah, and so I saw it and like changed it back before, and no one get any ideas. I still check my Wikipedia. It doesn't work for Funimation anymore. Like occasionally, I don't know, and I'd be like, I wonder if Grundy messed with this again, and like just to make sure.
On the story of the Wikipedia page, I was at NDK 2 weekends ago, I think. I don't know, it's been a long journey of conventions.
What is it?
But anyway, I was with Patrick Seitz and Bryce Papenbrook, and we were talking about Wikipedia pages for some reason, and then I said, let's check out everybody's Wikipedia pages, and we pulled up Patrick Seitz, and somebody named, like, I guess Anime Fan 165 or something like that, I don't know. Whatever. Very generic, so it's like, who are you? But this person writes, Patrick Seitz has the world's largest collection of sombreros. And so that he's an avid collector. And so we told Patrick, we're like, I don't know. He goes, I have one. one.
Sombrero,
So
man.
it's like someone saw him with one sombrero and was like, clearly he has the world's largest collection. Just one picture. So I feel like everybody should give Patrick a sombrero. And the next weekend he went to a convention. He goes, "It's begun," and somebody gave him a baby sombrero. So now he must have the world's largest collection of sombreros because then Wikipedia would be a lie and that would be a travesty.
His Wikipedia was like the future diary. It's predicting the world's largest, skill.
If you don't have Uno around.
No, mine is that.
Yes.
It's Ryan. It says that you worked with Nicolas Cage in Drive Angry.
Yeah.
How is he, like, in real life?
He was great. My sister came to visit the set. I was there for 3 weeks, and she came down to visit, and he was very cool. You know, he's a laid-back dude, and just, you know, I really didn't talk much at all to him. We're doing a shootout scene together. We're shooting at each other, so there's no reason to talk. But my sister's like this favorite movie star of all time, and she gushed all over him, and they might have had sex. I don't know. No, it's not true. No, she did. He's very nice and very just a cool guy. Yeah, he's just laid back guy, and I gave some acting tips, and yeah, maybe he'll win an Oscar one day. Oh, he did win an Oscar. That's right. No, he's cool. Yeah, thanks, man.
Well, yeah, he's even cooler, a lot like Jack Black.
Oh yeah, Jack Black's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That guy too. He's got a lot of energy. Ooh, yeah. Good guy. Yeah, man.
Well, they asked what's your worst experience. What's your best experience with voice acting?
Right now. Right now.
Oh, yeah.
There's been so many. I think every time I get cast in a show, it's like, it feels like the last time I'll get cast in a show, so it's like super awesome. But when we get to go to conventions, it's super fun, because you guys are really nice to be around, and you make us have a good time and give us candy so we wake up like punch drunk all day long. But like when I got to premiere Fairy Tale and I got to meet the Japanese creator, and he watched the show with us, and then there's like 5,000 fans watching the premiere, and then when we premiered Sword Art Online, and I found out it was going to be on Toonami on the same day, like all those things where it's like a huge weekend where your reality is like anime, and everybody loves everything that's happening, and everybody at the convention is so supportive. It's like a very surreal reality, and so for like a weekend we get to live that as like the only reality, and that's fantastic. And then go back on Monday and record. It's like, this is awesome. And then, you know, we realize that we're like normal people, and I still don't have any groceries, and then it like crashes back down. Like normal, crazy people.
Normal people.
What is normal?
Exactly. Basically, normal question. What is normal? I don't know what normal is.
What is normal? Hold on.
Setting on the trough.
The letter R.
The answers are always in laughing.
Or the humorous.
The humorous.
That's very profound.
See, yes.
Speaking of humor, is there a lot of messing around when you're in the booth, or is it just with certain people?
We're very serious people.
No messing around at all. Completely straightforward work.
Well, there's a time to be silly, and then there's a time to work. And so, I mean, everybody is professional when the situation calls for you to be professional. But we leave what are called bombs for each other a lot, because we all record separately unless we're doing what's called a Walla session, which means with all actors, and it's usually like 4 or 5 different actors, and that's where we do like background chatter for those scenes, just essentially lines for faceless characters. It's just noise in the background. But unless we're doing that, then we all record separately. So, you know, you may go in and you may be the first person recording, so you're just kind of talking in a vacuum, like you have no one to bounce off of because no one else has recorded yet. And so, if you have the fortune of recording first or recording before somebody that you're really good friends with or someone that's new or whatever, we will leave bombs for them, which is, let's make up usually 99% of the time, a really dirty or inappropriate line to say in place of the actual line. We'll get the actual line, because obviously we have to have that, but then the engineer will save the dirty or inappropriate line first. And play it, and then play it for the unsuspecting person who needs to receive it, and they have no idea that it's going to play.
that was an accidental.
Oh, right.
No. Whenever I blow a lot, whenever I get it wrong, I'll immediately start cursing like a sailor, and they think it's funny, and then they'll play it back, and I'll laugh.
Brittany Herbowski does the same
She gets really hostile.
I hate when I mess up.
They said that Jade Saxton is very similar to me, but in some ways it is. But in some ways the reverse. When I get upset, I get really frustrated with myself. Like I'm not mad at the situation. I'm just mad at myself, and I get very, very hostile towards myself, doing a lot of mean things. And like, usually it's in a higher voice, and I'll be like, "That makes it here," and I screw up the line, and I'm like, "Sherry, you're a horrible human. Learn to read, Sherry." Like it's just like very hostile when Jade Saxton attacks the director and the engineer. Like she's just like, "Why did you do that to me?" And they're like, "Whoa." Like she's just mad at them, and they think it's hilarious. She just doesn't know. We don't know how to place our anger.
You're both like really small. How are you?
And then we get so hostile, it's like freezing.
Speaking of which, like all these ones, do you have like any favorite kind of characters you like to play, or because Sherry, I know you played some of the lollies in some of the other that I've seen.
I play some what?
You played Premium.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
I do.
Who's the voice of the character?
Oh yeah.
I can't pick a favorite though, because I would honestly feel like I'm lining up all the other ones. I'll be like, I pick you, and the rest of you, I'm gonna shoot dead. Like I feel like, you know what I mean? Like you pick a favorite, it's like the rest of you don't mean anything to me, which is not true because I love all of them equally. When we're working on them, I mean, I have this when I'm working on it. It's like fresh in my mind. Weirdly enough, the things that I'm dealing with in my life, the character will say something very profound, at least in my experience. I'm like, how did you know that's exactly what I needed to hear? You're so wise, animate self. But then those are my favorite at the time, and I have like favorite moments with like every single character. Where after I finish it, I'm like, that was the best session ever. This is my favorite character. And then 3 days later, I'm like, this is my favorite character. And so I find like I can't do that to them. I can't pick one.
Yeah, no, I'm really bad at favorite questions. I'm like, I had to pick one.
I'm also indecisive.
Yeah.
I like picking favorite roles that I didn't get. Somebody else gets it, like, that's my favorite. You have my favorite role. You got my favorite. I didn't book it. You booked it. You booked my favorite role.
I'm now really concerned for my safety.
It's okay. It's gonna be okay, I promise. Yeah, I can't pick a favorite. I love them all. They're all like different. As an actor, you get to pretend to be different characters. I mean, and they're paying you to do this? Are you kidding me? It's a joy.
You basically get paid to play.
Yeah. Very, very, very thankful. Yes, I believe the mask. I like it.
I have a question. How was your experience playing Rogue?
It was amazing. By the way, are those cats on your head? Oh, they're not. They're just goggles. They look like cats from here. Those are really cool. Yeah, I was like, whoa, and they match your. Anyway, Rogue was amazing. Honestly, it was terrifying when I first got cast because Todd was the director and he also played Alan Walker. So he brought me in and he said, so this character is like playfully sexy, and I was like, no. I was like, I don't really like that word. I don't like it. I don't associate with it. I do like cute, and then I do evil. I can do really anything but that word. Todd's like, it's gonna be fine. I was like, I'll go. He was like, no, get in the booth. I was like, no, it's okay, I'll go. You can have somebody else do that. I don't do that. So it's really awkward because Chris Sabat, we were in Chris Sabat's studio. So I'm like trying to be a sexy character in Okratron, which is the only studio that has a camera on your face, with Chris Sabat and Todd Haverford and Raleigh, and they're like, yeah, that'll work. I'm like, that'll work? God, that's so supportive. Thanks, dudes. And then like as things progressed, they're like, that was good. And then I was like, that's awkward. I don't know what's happening anymore. But it was like a challenge. I feel like they like set the bar, and then I had to like get over that hurdle. So oftentimes like Jamie and Mark, you had cast me in my first fighting role, and I'd never done that before. So that was one where Road was a character where I was like, I got a new challenge, and I either had the opportunity to take on the challenge and know that these people were going to help me get through it, or I could have fled and been like, I don't want it. And I'm glad that I did it, because that was fun.
Because Deep Gray Man and Soul Eater were both like
Yay! Thank you. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then he made me sing. He goes, "You're gonna sing today." I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever, dude." We have a very sarcastic relationship. And then like later on, he goes, "Okay, so here's a song." He had me listen to it twice. He goes, "Now we're gonna record it." I said, "I'm sorry, what now?" Was that like a joke? Because I was just laughing, not paying attention. He goes, "You should have been learning the lyrics." I was like, "You should have been honest and up front, sir." So yeah, we got through it.
Yes. Speaking of Chris Sabat, what's it like working with Funimation's resident man of a million voices?
Christopher Sabat.
He's amazing.
He is awesome. He gave me he gave me a Dragon Ball Z Kai, and I was very thankful. And we went on a mandate afterwards. And Chris told me he was loving me. It's a true story. What's that? No, he didn't. Chris Sabat is one of the godfathers, in voice acting, and I was very appreciative to get to work with him because he's also quite a character. He loves to pull pranks, as you know.
Sabotage.
Because you sabotage, you get to the booth, you get the camera on you, and he's had some laughs at my expense.
If you ever read a Facebook message or status from a voice actor that you're like, wow, that's a little too much information, or that's really uncomfortable.
Really random.
It's something Sabat took their phone and posted.
Sabat is the reason why we all have
Locks on our phone.
locks on our phones. Because if you leave it somewhere, like if I put my phone here and like turn around, he would snatch it and I would do something with it.
Yeah, yes. One time he updated my
Constantly
status on
looking for
Facebook.
opportunities.
He said that I had, he said, how do you get the smelly, like scratching your butt, how do you get the smell out your fingers or something? I lost like 3 friends. My grandmother unfriended me. Oh, Brian! I'm unfriending you! Grandma!
I played a trick on Sabat because I was going to a convention and Ian and I were on the same flight, and I handed him my phone for some reason, and he goes, "This isn't locked." And I was like, "It's not locked, I don't care." He goes, "Sabat's gonna be at this convention." I was like, "Okay, I don't care." He goes, "Share me." I said, "Nobody's gonna mess with me." He was like, "Nobody's gonna mess with you, they mess with you every day." I was like, yeah. So we locked my phone, and we told Sabat we told everybody at the convention, all the guests, all the attendees, and Sabat heard it through the grapevine, which was all my doing, that Share Me doesn't have her phone locked. So I did panels with Sabat, and he would be like, taking the phone away, and I'd be like, Sabat, don't do that. And then on the last day, he's taking the phone away, and he like slid through it, and everybody's like, I was totally like, he slid it, and he goes, "This is locked." And I was like, and this is like on a panel on the last day. It was awesome. He was really angry. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Sabat will like break into people's hotel rooms, and it doesn't stop him.
He actually murdered a voice actor once, too.
Yeah.
They never proved it.
I got 66 on a long time. That was a lot. Whoa.
Not all at once.
I did.
Oh, the
I
pictures?
skipped like a small amount.
Yeah, they're tardy, aren't you? They're like
No,
tardy.
it didn't.
I thought you just went,
Make it
yeah.
pucker, make it pucker.
We're gonna watch this video and be like,
Yes, ma'am.
what did we take?
What is the most awkward line that you've had to say in a dub? And Alexis, I know that Hagenai was pretty awkward
I was
for
gonna
you
say, have you
too.
seen Hog and I?
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Okay, I always forget, but then I remember. There was a show, and I don't know if it's been released or not, but I don't remember what show it was.
Oh,
I just showed up. And they were talking, there was like, going around the studio, like, yeah, see if Sherman wants to do this. I think she might say no, and we'll understand if she says no. I'm like, wow, it's gonna be really bad. And they said, this character, no, Zach was directing it. Or
I
is
know
Zach
it is.
recorded me? Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, 'cause he directed
Like, it was so awful.
Yeah, I think for me,
No, I'm not doing it ever again. That's how it's
mentioned Hagenite, and I think like Rika was really fun, but everything that comes out of her mouth is like horrible. So I mean, it was since I don't talk like that in everyday life, it was kind of fun because I'm like, I have an excuse to say these horrible things and get away with it, even though this isn't what I normally say. So it became a joke, and Zach was such a great director, and I would leave the studio feeling sore because I was laughing so hard. But I think for Rika, one of the most awkward things was, for those of you that have seen the show, it's very early on in her introduction, and she pulls out this dirty robot manga, and everyone's like, I don't get it. Like, it just looks like a Gundam manga. Like, what's so dirty about it? She's like, oh my God, you have to read it. And so she starts reading this scene between two robots, and it's all like they're in space and they're fighting, but it's all this like sexual innuendo, but they're fighting.
You're the character that made me read that thing.
Oh yeah.
Suddenly, I know.
It's Zach's fault. I know, it was me. But anyway, but she had to read she was narrating the scene, and so she had to not only narrate this robot sex scene, but she had to do the male robot part and the female robot
That's
part.
really uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it's so ridiculous that you kind of just have to take a step back and laugh at it, because this character's, she's hilarious and she's crazy. But it was even worse because Zach had cast some new people in the show, and they were kind of like, oh, like really apprehensive about some of the awkward things they had to say. And so what he would do is he called me in to record a lot of that stuff first. So he already had me on tape, oh my God, I already had my files. And so anytime they were apprehensive or were kind of like, oh, this line, like I'm really embarrassed, like and it's not coming out right because I'm embarrassed. And he's like, you want to hear what Alexis did? And then he would like play that scene for them because it's like the most embarrassing thing in the show. Yeah, and he'd be like, see, look, she got through it. See, no, what you have to do, not even on the same level. Like if Alexis can do it, you can do it. And so then, but he didn't stop there. He showed it to everybody. And I would have people coming in and being like, yeah. Oh my God, I saw that. I know, it's like I saw that scene you did in Hagenite, and then it was even worse because I couldn't, like for the guy voice, like the male robot voice, he was like, no, I want it like dark and like raspy and like gross. And I'm like, okay. He's like, think of Chubbs, who's one of our engineers, who always has like, he has this voice where it's not his normal speaking voice, but he'll come up and like be like, yeah, but it's really creepy. He's like, channel Chubbs, and I'm like, okay. And then it worked. We got it. He's like, okay, this is great. Hang on a second. And he goes and gets Chubbs. He just said it's inspired by you, and I'm like, oh my God, I just take off the headset.
You're like, Chubbs, please don't kill me, or do not ever again.
I know. No, he thought it was hilarious, and I was just like, oh my God.
I love Chubbs.
The most awkward line I've ever heard to say was I was working with Christopher Sabat, and I was in the booth, and I remember saying, Christopher Sabat, please get off me. You're making me very uncomfortable. Probably the most uncomfortable line I've ever delivered. Hey, this is easy sitting up here. Actually, it is easy sitting up here. Woo! Syracuse!
I did a comedy writing thing, so I used to write like sketches and the character would get by on the pixie stick. It was my sketch, and it was a blind date with this like pixie stick dealer. Like she was 10. I don't know why my brain decided to come up with that.
So I saw a hand shoot up over there. Get me out of this way.
Well, who is one person, other than me, of course, that you've always wanted to work with, but you haven't had the pleasure of doing so?
Without you, there's nobody.
I would love to work with Tara Strong. Three.
Yeah, Tara Strong is awesome!
Yeah! Tara Strong!
Woo!
I would love to do like motion capture with Troy Baker, Travis Bellingham, and Lauren Bailey, because I just think that would be awesome. And I would also love to do motion capture or do a cartoon with Ashley Johnson, who is Gretchen in Recess, and she's on Teen Titans. She and I did a feature film together when I was 17 called Fast Food Nation, and I just like saw her again last weekend. She was promoting The Last of Us. She plays Ellie. She's like, we need to work together again. I was like, we should be children next time we work together. She was like, yeah. So that would be awesome.
Who I like to work? I like to work. I like to work with good actors. Thanks. No, I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. I don't know. I'd probably like to work with Todd Habercorn.
Yeah.
Team Habercorn! Todd did give me my third or fourth break at D. Great Man, so I'm forever grateful to Todd.
I got to tell, on D. Great Man, I also got to tell about 3 directors to go blow themselves up.
Oh.
That's what my character had to say, and then the people that got cast in it were like Zach Bolton and Tyler Walker. So they would come up to me and they go, "You just told me to go blow myself up and then I died." And I was like, "The script told me to do it."
It says right here at page 5. It's not me.
I was just doing it with the Habercorn said. I wasn't following my Haber directions. Refuse the Haber directions and die. Yeah, I don't know. Yes.
Sorry. Did you say you did the voice of Stockings and Penny and Stockings?
I did not. Oh, sorry.
Lisa.
Yeah.
The demon one.
Not nice one. Actually, she's very eloquent and awesome.
How was doing that? Because that's the most recent thing I've seen.
It was really scary because
I don't blame you.
Because Colleen brought me in and like the cast is like Jamie Markey, Monica Rial, Chris Abbott, Colleen Klinkenbeard, Joel McDonald, Ian Sinclair, Chris Bevins, and then me. And I was just like, one of these things is not like the other. And so I was terrified, so I was like, oh, I can't screw this up. And then she's like, I want a really deep voice, and I want the really deep voice to be a little bit lower than mine. I was like, and this is again one of those moments where I go, I'll go. I'm just gonna leave. She was like, no, we're gonna get through it. I was like, okay. So we did, and I think the most awkward thing that we recorded was the transformation sequence. Since Colleen was the director, she recorded it with me, so I could hear her in my headset. And I was recording at the same time because she wanted to sound very like as real as possible. And if anybody knows what I'm talking about, you know that's awkward. And so our engineer at the time, Steven, after we got the take, he goes, yeah, we need to take a break. I don't want to be in the same room with both of you right now. But that was cool. It was very fun.
Yes, sir.
This one's for you, Brian, and it's kind of a question from my friend Jack. What was your favorite part of playing Lad Russo in Bacano?
Oh, yeah. Every day, man. Every day I get to go in there and get into his skin and dance around and talk like a gangster. I mean, how much fun is that? You know, Pixie Sticks and get that crazy. I remember jumping around, and when I got that part, Tyler Walker, when he brought me in, when I first heard I got it, I was so excited. I went to do recording, and Tyler's like, no, this is actually another audition. It's a paid audition. So I had to go through 2 hours of that. But I remember I said either I'm gonna get this part or I'm gonna scare the crap out of everybody. That was my goal. And anyway, it was a great experience, man. I'm very, very thankful to play that role. But yeah, thanks. Thanks, Jack. Does that answer your question? He's texting right now. He's like, he said Brian asked you a question.
And he's updating it.
And he's still answering it. Brian? Hey, dude. Look at this. I can't like this guy. It's really happening. He's completely ignoring me. Okay. That was entertaining. Yeah.
Okay, so this happens to a lot of fans, but I'm kind of curious. Do the voice actors also get crushes on certain characters?
So you're asking me if I've ever fallen in love with a cartoon character?
Yeah.
not the actor who plays it, just the cartoon.
Yeah, the image of the cartoon, like the actual character itself.
Oh,
yes.
like I don't love the traits about the character. Like I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're beautiful. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I mean like an actual crush.
Like a crush on another character in the show.
So like,
Yes.
like
Well, maybe not that you don't actually know the voice actor themselves, so that'd be
Okay, you
awkward.
mean like the actual character.
Yes.
I've seen characters and been like, ooh, look at that Bishi or
I'm just in love with J. Michael Tatum's voice.
Has there been an animated Chris Pine?
I don't know, Sherry.
If there was an animated Chris Pine, yeah, maybe. Or an animated Robert Downey Jr. and then not the Joker Chris Tatum film.
I had a crush on Mulan a long time ago.
There you go.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Let's get down to
She was singing We Are Men.
Mulan's pretty hot.
I think